Hackers are now finding and exploiting your vulnerabilities before your IT team even knows they exist. AI-generated attacks are doubling every 4 months. And the tools your company uses to defend itself were not built for this. Here is how bad it already is. 6 years ago, 2020, the average hacker needed 700 days to find a weakness in your systems and exploit it. That is nearly 2 years. Your IT team had time. They could find the hole, patch it, test it, and move on. By 2025, that number had collapsed to 44 days. Today, in 2026, the window is effectively 0. Sometimes negative. Attacks are arriving before the patch even exists. That is not a software problem anymore. That is a speed problem. And AI is the reason it happened. This is not just a problem for big corporations. Every person watching this is an entry point into a company, a bank, a hospital. You are the door. And the door is now being tested millions of times a day by machines that never sleep. Let us put the numbers on screen so they can sink in. In 2020, hackers needed 700 days on average to exploit a known vulnerability. By 2025, that dropped to 44 days. That is a 93% reduction in 6 years. But the real headline is not 44 days. The real headline is what Mandiant called negative time to exploit. Exploits are now arriving before the vendor has even released a patch. Before the fix exists. That means there is no defensive action you can take. None. And it gets worse. 28.3% of all CVEs, that stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, the official list of known security holes, 28.3% are now being actively exploited within 24 hours of being publicly disclosed. Think about that. Your IT team learns about a critical flaw on Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, attackers are already inside companies that have not patched it. The average time for a company to fix a known critical vulnerability is 74 days. Attackers need 44. You are already losing that race before you even start. And then there is this number. 45% of vulnerabilities at large enterprises, companies with dedicated security teams and 8-figure budgets, 45% of known vulnerabilities never get fixed at all. Not slow. Never. This is the official assessment from the AI Safety Institute. Frontier AI cyber offense capability is doubling every 4 months. Every 4 months, the attacks get twice as capable, twice as fast, twice as hard to stop. The defenders have not kept pace. They cannot. Let me tell you about September 2025. An attack so sophisticated, so wide-reaching, that researchers named it after the giant sandworm from the novel Dune. Shai-Hulud. The creature that lives beneath the surface. Invisible until it destroys you. Here is what happened. Every software developer in the world uses something called NPM, a package ecosystem. Think of it as an app store, but for the building blocks of software itself. When a developer builds an app, they pull in hundreds of pre-written components from NPM. It saves time. It is standard practice everywhere. Attackers poisoned that ecosystem. They did not hack into companies directly. They went upstream. They compromised over 500 NPM packages, components sitting inside the codebases of companies all around the world. 487 organizations had secrets stolen. API keys, passwords, internal credentials, access tokens. Everything a company uses to prove it is who it says it is. Gone. And then came the financial blow. $8.5 million was stolen directly from Trust Wallet, a cryptocurrency platform, using credentials harvested from a poisoned Chrome extension that developers had installed trusting it was safe. Companies were forced to freeze all code deployments. They could not ship new software. They did not know what was compromised and what was not. Development teams sat idle while security teams tried to trace every infected dependency across millions of lines of code. That is what an AI-assisted supply chain attack looks like at scale. Not a dramatic breach of a single target. A slow, invisible contamination of the tools that build everything else. To understand why this is different, you need to understand how hacking used to work. Traditional hacking was a human process. A skilled attacker would manually study a piece of software, look for weak points, try different approaches, eventually find something exploitable. This took time, skill, and significant effort. It was limited by human bandwidth. AI hacking is not limited by any of those things. A frontier AI model can scan millions of lines of code in hours. It identifies patterns humans would miss. It generates working exploit code automatically, testing variations at machine speed. What took a skilled human weeks now takes minutes. And the outputs are terrifying. AI-generated malware is now being designed to look like legitimate code. It passes standard detection tools because it does not look like malware. It looks like something a developer wrote. Here is the most important shift: AI has lowered the skill barrier dramatically. Before, you needed nation-state level resources and talent to run the kind of attacks we are describing. That is no longer true. Small criminal groups now have access to offensive AI capabilities that would have required a government budget 5 years ago. The Venn diagram of attackers who are willing and attackers who are capable is now almost a perfect circle. And it is growing every 4 months. The Air Street report on the state of AI in 2026 put it plainly: frontier AI has crossed the Rubicon into offensive cyber operations. There is no going back. Here is the honest answer. The tools most companies are using right now were built for human speed attacks. Signature-based detection, patch management cycles, quarterly security audits. These are processes designed around the assumption that you have weeks or months to respond. That assumption is now false. For individual people watching this, the reality is both reassuring and unsettling. You are probably not the target. Attackers want your employer, your bank, your hospital. But you are the entry point. You are the credential, the device, the email click that opens the door. Your personal security matters because your access matters. What are companies actually doing? Most are still in reactive mode. They are patching faster, but not fast enough. They are adding AI to their defense tooling, but they are playing catch-up. The more forward-thinking approach, and companies like ChainGuard are leading this, is to stop trying to patch every hole and instead eliminate entire categories of vulnerability. Reduce the attack surface so dramatically that there are fewer holes to exploit in the first place. Minimal base images. Dependency tracking at build time. Verified provenance for every component in your software supply chain. This is not a patch problem. It is an architecture problem. And the companies that understand that are the ones that will survive 2026 and beyond. If AI offensive capability is doubling every 4 months, let us do the maths on where that puts us by the end of 2026. We are in May 2026 right now. By December, we will have seen roughly 2 more doublings from today's already alarming baseline. The asymmetry of defense versus offense does not get better with scale. Defenders must protect every system, every endpoint, every dependency, every employee. Attackers only need to find one hole. One misconfigured server. One poison package. One employee who clicks the wrong link. The gap between attack capability and defense capability is not closing. It is widening every 4 months. And the biggest danger is that most people have no idea this is happening. We are talking about AI replacing jobs and AI writing poetry. Nobody is talking about AI dismantling critical infrastructure. We spend all our time talking about AI replacing our jobs. We are not spending enough time talking about AI attacking our banks, our hospitals, our power grids. The race between AI defenders and AI attackers is already underway. Right now the attackers are winning. And the gap is growing every 4 months. The companies and governments that treat this as tomorrow's problem are making a catastrophic bet. The data says the timeline is now. The capability is now. The attacks are already here. If this matters to you, and it should, subscribe for daily AI news in 2026. And tell me in the comments, is your company actually taking AI cyber threats seriously? Or is this still something everyone is ignoring? Because the attackers are not ignoring it.